in effect, mapipilitan ng PhilHealth mag-operate gamit lang ang reserve funds niya dahil ang laki po ng ina-anticipate nating funding gap in the next year. Given na itong mga malalaking amounts na in a way due sa PhilHealth, payable sa PhilHealth, ay hindi pa talaga naibibigay sa kanya. So, Madam Chair, given that fiscal year 2025 provided zero subsidy for PhilHealth, paano pinaplano ng PhilHealth i-recover? Simulan natin, yung 53 billion pesos na dapat na-release. And if, I'm hoping it won't be the case, but if Congress does not augment PhilHealth's funds, aling mga benefits ang at risk ng delayed reimbursements o outright reduction bandang kalagitnaan ng susunod na taong 2026, Madam Chair?
PhilHealth to respond. But for the record, Mr. President, this representation takes the position that it's not just 53 billion that is due to PhilHealth, it's 69 because of because 69 billion is the certified amount provided by BIR for the syntax earmarking. So hindi nga lang 53, 69 billion. So what is the
Salamat,
response?
Madam Chair.
Payment cycle.
Payment cycle for the hospital. Ano ba yung normal cycle?
Right now po, we shorted it.
Okay, but
Pwedeng gawin 60.
okay.
Cash flow, how much?
Okay.
It's second bill right here.
Okay, so Mr. President, I will enumerate some packages, benefit packages that were increased from 2025 to 2026. So this is the good news. They increased the comprehensive outpatient benefits, the YACAP, which is the Consulta Primary Care, the guaranteed access medication for outpatient, yung paglabas nila or nasa labas sila, may gamot sila, and then emergency care and other outpatient benefits, and then even the inpatient benefits, and then Z benefit yung sa catastrophic illnesses. So yan, nag-increase yan from 2025 to 2026.
Yes.
Pero if they do not receive the funding that they expect to receive, then of course these benefits are they actually have plans to continue to increase this until 2027. The benefits I mentioned, so I can give you a total, Mr. President. In 2025, it's 100. Ang enhancement is 39? No. Okay. So the total projected benefit expense is 351 billion for 2026, and then it's supposed to go up in 2027 to 419. But as Her Honor pointed out, if they do not have the support they need, ito yung mga maapektuhan. And of course, it goes without saying, yung mga ospital na nagpo-provide ng services, ayaw naman natin na ma-delay. Kasi right now, PhilHealth is proud to say that they've reduced the cycle from billing to release of payment to 22 days, which is the
Way under
fastest
the
I've heard
60
in years.
turnaround time, yes.
Sayang naman kung babalik pa doon sa matagal, di ba? Because I think
Right.
I think we'll all agree that it's healthy for the economy. It's healthy for the industry, for the private sectors to be paid in a reasonable amount of time.
At salamat, Madam Chair. Klaro yung danger na hinaharap, di lang ng PhilHealth mismo, pero lahat tayo na PhilHealth members, kung yung trajectory ngayon ng PhilHealth na dinadagdagan at tinataasan yung value ng mga benefit packages, yung plano nilang patuloy na gawin ito until 2027 and beyond, 2026, 2027 and beyond, at yung trend na rin nila ngayon na pinaiiksian yung turnaround time to reimburse the medical facilities, ay mabitin dahil kung hindi maibigay sa PhilHealth yung mga pondo na nararapat sa kanya at sa kanyang mga miyembro. So this gives us in Congress that added sense of urgency to make sure that such a situation doesn't materialize. And therefore, Madam Chair, at the proper time, magiging willing po ba yung komite natin suportahan ang isang proposed augmentation of the 69, hindi nga 53 lamang, 69 billion pesos, kahit partial, hulugan in tranches over the next 3 years para i-correct at ibalik yung zero subsidy nitong taon, Madam Chair?
This representation agrees wholeheartedly. That is actually the gist of my appeal to DBM earlier. Na siguro naman kahit papano, pwede naman mag-remit ng a little bit more than is currently being remitted. And with the packages that we see here, it's something really for the people to look forward to, no? Because a lot of it is outpatient benefits, and then of course yung zero balance billing.
Yes. Oo. Maraming salamat para doon, Madam Chair. So this representation looks forward to working with the Chair at the proper time to work out ano yung pinaka-optimal na, in a way, remittance program, no, towards PhilHealth. And mamaya sa second round ko maitatanong ko rin nga yung tungkol sa napaka-importanteng zero balance billing. Dako po ako, Madam Chair, sa paksa ng premium payment for indirect contributors. So, Mr. President, Madam Chair, UHC promises coverage for all Filipinos. Pero mula sa 198.91 billion pesos na sinisingil ng PhilHealth para sa indirect contributors, 53.26 billion pesos lang ang napondohan or mapopondohan as of tonight para sa 2026. So, paano natin maipaliliwanag sa publiko na less than 27% lamang? So a little over 1/4 lamang ang inilaan ng gobyerno para sa premium subsidy ng indirect contributors. Kahit malinaw na obligasyon nitong bayaran nito ng buo sa ilalim ng UHC, Madam Chair.
So actually, Mr. President, PhilHealth will not turn away any patient. So any of the sectors that are supposed to be covered by the indirect contributions will still, in a way, be deemed covered. But the problem is the same as I explained earlier, that in time, obviously, yung benefits na binibigay, paano mapapondohan lahat yon kung kulang, di ba? So wala ngang ito-turn away, pero if lahat yan magkasakit, then there may come, and then right now may reserve fund pa naman, but kaya nga po tinatawag na reserve fund, it should only be touched in times of calamity, emergency, hindi yung taon-taon na lang gagalawin, baka wala ng reserve fund na maiwan, and then ayaw natin mangyari yung dadating tayo sa puntos na wala nang masuportahan na benefits ang PhilHealth, no?
Yes, I agree, Madam Chair. At talagang hindi naman dapat obligahin ng PhilHealth na yun na nga, umasa lamang, mag-operate lamang sa reserve funds niya precisely because by the principle of the Constitution, by the laws themselves, merong at least 3 malinaw na pagkukuhanan dapat. At yun ay hindi dapat sinasakal or hinahadlangan anumang taon. And Madam Chair, dahil sa laki ng shortfall na ito dito sa mga indirect contributors, ano pong mangyayari sa benepisyo ng 14.5 million na indirect contributors na iyon na hindi nabayaran ang premium? Parang kanina yung tanong ko po na what are at stake, what are at risk? And so at ano yung chances na kung meron man, wag sana, pero ano yung chances na mabawasan ang benepisyo ng persons with disability, solo parents, senior citizens, pati po SK officials, Madam Chair, athletes, at iba pang sektor na may garantisadong coverage sa UHC law, Madam Chair?
Wala naman pong kahit anong sektor, whether it's those with disabilities, senior citizens, ito po kasi yung mga indirect contributors, no, solo parents, wala naman sa kanilang matatanggalan ng benepisyo as this representation has mentioned. But over time, yung magagandang mga new packages na niro-roll out, yung zero balance billing pa nga lang na pinupondohan pa lang, baka uuwi yung mga tao na malaki pa rin yung balance nila, hindi zero, di ba? But not targeted sa isang sektor. Lahat ng members ng PhilHealth, parang mag-share din sila ng burden ng lack of funding. If tuloy-tuloy ito. Kaya nga pareho tayong panawagan, Your Honor, na sana kahit quarterly, dagdagan yung talagang supposed to be pondo ng PhilHealth.
Yes, Madam Chair. And that's why nabanggit ko nga po kanina na I look forward to working with Madam Chair para dun sa pinaka-optimal na remittance program from national government towards PhilHealth and back to PhilHealth. Kasama na po kasi yung utang na dapat ibalik. Dahil how long na pwedeng mag-operate ang PhilHealth not with those optimal fund flows, and perhaps at a certain point might be theoretically forced na mag-dip into sa surplus funds niya. So hindi po talaga dapat. And that's precisely, I believe, Madam Chair, the strongest argument we can make towards government. Bagamat kanina, dun sa general principle, sa pamamagitan ni Chair Sherwin, meron na po tayong commitment in principle, no, from the DBCC. Panghahawakan po natin and na ibalik nga at ibigay ang dapat ibigay at ibalik sa PhilHealth. Dahil Pag hindi, talagang anong mangyayari? Talagang magiging at risk, manganganib po yung mga benepisyo na ini-ensure ng ating batas ng UHC sa lahat ng contributors, direct at indirect man. At Madam Chair, dahil paulit-ulit na issue ang kulang na premium subsidy, hindi nababayaran ng lahat ng indirect contributors at 5,000 pesos lamang ang premium payment kumpara sa 7,995 pesos na singil ng PhilHealth. Ano po ang malinaw na basehan ng gobyerno sa patuloy na pagbabarat ng premium contribution? At paano balak ng PhilHealth bawiin o kolektahin ang hindi nabayarang premium mula sa national government? I think partially, Madam Chair, natalakay na po natin ito sa plano nating magdisenyo tayo at magkasundo sa national government yung remittance pagbabalik sa PhilHealth, Madam Chair.
Yun na nga po talaga yung kailangan gawin, na makonvince natin ang DBM na this amount is rightfully due to PhilHealth, and kailangan ng tao kasi naintindihan naman po natin na the last few years parang hindi masyado maganda yung rollout ng program. So when I say naintindihan, hindi ibig sabihin na ako ay sumasang-ayon sa desisyon ng DOF and DBM to remove the supposedly 89 billion na naging 60 billion. Pero yung dinadahilan nga nila is hindi naman nagagamit, nakatenga lang daw yung pera. But ngayon na napakaganda ng mga programa, there's absolutely no reason kung bakit hindi pondohan at ibigay yung full support dito sa mga packages na ito na pakinabangan ng ating mga kababayan.
Well, tingin ko, Madam Chair, debatable kung kahit sa mga taon na may judgment ang ibang bahagi ng gobyerno na hindi maganda o hindi pinakamaganda ang performance ng PhilHealth, kung yun ay pwede nilang sabihing basehan nila para kunin nga yung pera na by law dapat talaga nakalaan lamang sa PhilHealth. But we can say, and I join the Madam Chair in saying this, lalo na ngayon na gumaganda lalo ang performance ng PhilHealth at ambisyoso yung mga plano nila, all the more reason those monies taken should be returned at dapat tuloy-tuloy yung flow of funds na naaayon sa PhilHealth, whether through the syntax law or yung annual budget making exercise natin.
With the indulgence of Senator De
Yes,
Veros,
Mr.
the Chair
President.
would like to interject that ever since Dr. Mercado took over PhilHealth, there was a big improvement in the rollout of the programs of PhilHealth, and I was a witness. And last year, medyo nagkano pa from the former PhilHealth head. Iba yung concentration niya. I think he was more proud that there was big reserve funds, no? Na yun tuloy pinakialaman po. So at least now with Dr. Mercado at the helm, we are very optimistic that even the participation of PhilHealth in the hospital billings, which he committed, will be increased likewise, no, in the coming year. So again, I'm also a witness. I had a procedure recently. Sabi po no sa private hospital, that a lot are getting their procedure, yung cataract operation, and PhilHealth is already covering cataract operation, even the lenses, no? So congratulations to Dr. Mercado. At least maganda na at they are working harmoniously with the DOH secretary. Hindi na sila magsusuntukan ng tulad dati. I'm sure that this will benefit most of the members, no? So yun. We wish you all the luck, and we will definitely with you, Secretary, Chairman of Committee on Health, Senpia, and myself as the principal sponsor of UHC, lahat tayo dito, we will really try to support the PhilHealth now that it has really improved immensely under Dr. Mercado. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, before Her Honor continues her interpellation,
Yes, Madam
I just
Chair.
want to emphasize that when DOF removed the funds from PhilHealth, this representation's position was that if, in fact, funding in PhilHealth is not being used, the solution is to ensure that the executives in charge of running PhilHealth use it and not to remove that funding. So I agree wholeheartedly with Her Honor. Ang ibig ko lang naman sabihin doon sa sinabi kong naintindihan ko, it wasn't like I understand, it's okay. I meant like, pinilit kong intindihin yung logic nila. Nakita ko yung logic nila, pero hindi ako nagsumasang-ayon dun sa conclusion na what conclusion they came up with. Anyway, Your Honor has the floor.
Salamat, Madam Chair. And gusto ko ring makiisa dun sa sentiment na inexpress ni Mr. President, and I join with him and Madam Chair in also sharing the excitement I feel, a renewed excitement working with the new PhilHealth leadership in partnership with the DOH leadership. Dahil nararamdaman ko rin, Mr. President, Madam Chair, yung hindi lang yung kaalaman pero yung care, no, sa PhilHealth leadership which makes it all the more worthwhile to work as kami sa Kongreso as a partner sa fulfillment ng pangarap ng universal healthcare sa ating state health insurance and health financing pillar ng UHC system. And lastly, Madam Chair, dito sa paksa ng premium payment for indirect contributors, bukas din po ba ang komite sa amendments para masiguro ang full payment ng 14.5 million indirect contributors, or at least, again, kahit additional support for the most vulnerable among them. Halimbawa, persons with disabilities, seniors, youth or SK, solo parents, at athletes para siguradong walang maiiwan sa UHC, Madam Chair.
Full support naman tayo,
Yes.
Mr. President, kung may mga amendments na ganon. Believe me, we have tried. Pinipiga natin ang ating chairman, nangangayayat na nga sa kakapiga natin. But hope flows eternal for PhilHealth, diba? So, pagtulungan po natin yan.
Okay. Yes, Madam Chair. Let's do that. Okay po. And lastly, para sa mga tanong ko sa PhilHealth, yung paborito nating 60 billion peso augmentation for benefit improvement. So finally, let me address the 60 billion peso item for benefit improvements. Congress, as more and more of us, Madam Chair, have stated, Congress must assert that these are PhilHealth's own funds, not appropriated funds from the national government. Kasi po, Madam Chair, bakit ang sariling pera ng PhilHealth ay pinipresenta sa national budget na parang bagong suporta ito? Hindi ba ito misleading sa Kongreso at sa publiko? And lastly, Madam Chair, pwede po ba tayong kumuha ng confirmation kung yung pondong ito ay restricted at tied ba ito sa isang special provision, Madam Chair?
Because it never has. But it was never. Thank you for that question. Maganda hong ipaliwanag sa tao yan, ano? So, tayo po, gusto natin maibalik yung pondong yon. If and when Senator Lauren takes the floor, but I think she does intend to take the floor on the same issue, ang paniniwala niya is ibang source dapat yung panggalingan yan. Pero sabi ko naman sa kanya, kung ganon, kunyari supplemental budget, baka lalong hindi makarating.
Yes.
So mabuti nang ibalik na natin ngayon, no? So that is this representation's position. Having said that, yun ding house naglagay din sila ng 60 billion sa kanilang version sa GAB, pero medyo may mga restrictions ang sa kanila. Sa atin po wala kasi kinuha na galing yan sa PhilHealth eh. Bakit mo ibabalik ng may restrictions? And
Exactly,
in
Madam
all
Chair.
ano naman inaral naman po natin ang daming paggagamitan. Hindi naman kailangan i-restrict. And kung maganda naman ang management, bakit mo sila pipigilan na gamitin nila sa kung anumang paraan na kailangan? Meron lang mo tayong, ano ba tawag natin dyan? Special provisions. Mga special provisions. We can furnish Her Honor with a copy. But suffice it to say na wag ko kayong mag-alala, yung ating recommendation wala naman ng restrictions.
Maraming salamat para doon, Madam Chair. Kahit yung konting kabang nararamdaman ko sa posibilidad ng special provision, kahit papano na iibsa ng kahit konti nung sinabi ni Madam Chair na walang kondisyon na ipapataw sa PhilHealth para ibalik sa kanya ang pondong kanya naman talaga sa simula, kinuha sa kanya, kaya gaya ng sinabi ko kanina sa interpellation natin sa general provisions, dapat ituring na utang.